Space, the final frontier. Well, not for babies, that is. Hey guys, MasterCoX here. Now today's topic was born after me watching the latest DBZA movie, Broly, the Legendary Super Saiyan. Most of us are familiar with the story. Broly hates Goku because he cried a lot as a baby. Yeah, still doesn't make sense to this day, does it? Last week, after my video about the Legendary Super Saiyan, I asked you guys who you thought was the Legendary Super Saiyan, and I am proud to present you the results! And they are... I actually didn't expect that. I never thought Broly of all people would be considered last. I don't know whether to be proud of you guys or confused or whatever. I don't know. Either way, thank you guys for voting. After seeing that poll, rewatching some Super, and then rewatching the Broly movie, I had a bit of a brainwave. Pan, could she be the next Legendary Super Saiyan? Let's be realistic here. She's just a baby with no formal training. She's not exactly going to be a likely candidate for the universe survival arc now, is she? I'm not going to be saying, oh, you should include Pan in that lineup because she's stronger than Roshi. No, she's just a baby, come on. I mean, Dragonball is weird, but it's got to have limits, come on. Having said that though, Pan's strength is worth talking about because she's demonstrated quite a lot of power in Super up until now. After watching episode 43, not only did we get to see Pan's innate abilities on full display for all to see in the upper reaches of Earth's atmosphere, but we also got to see that she's so freaking adorable and all her transgressions in GT have been completely forgiven, at least in my eyes. In that episode, there is a scene where Pan is floating in space, showing no sign of strain whatsoever, with a familiar looking energy aura around her, like she's about to go up against a mighty foe. That was kinda weird, but also kind of awesome. She is barely a year old, at least I think. Months and dates in Super aren't exactly specific, so I'm going to assume that she's close to a year old. In any case, she's still in nappies, and yet she's able to be literally on top of the world. When I first saw this scene, I thought it was hilarious yet surreal. But now that I've had time to dwell on it and actually think about it, it actually speaks volumes. Pan's abilities seem familiar. Are we seeing flecks of Broly here? Let's get one thing straight. I know Broly is a movie villain and that he doesn't figure in the TV series, nor is he ever going to. But you can't deny that his place in the Dragonball franchise is extremely prominent. Like it or not, he's everywhere. He's in games, spin-off projects, side things, fan-made things. If you put Broly in your project, he is going to generate interest. End of. Toriyama didn't have a problem with it. He never vetoed the idea whilst it was in development. In fact, Toriyama was the guy that designed Broly in the first place, at least according to an interview in Daizenshuu 6. As much as people want to see it, Broly is not going to appear in Super. No matter how many times all those fake internet outlets want to proclaim that Broly Super Saiyan Blue is going to show up, be hype everyone, yeah, that ain't gonna happen. When all is said and done, his influence is maximum. So this is where I get off. Could Pan's power be inspired by the likes of Broly? My main focus here is the characters as babies. When Broly was a baby, he had a power level of 10,000, which was a lot back in the day, you know, when powers weren't as high and when power levels actually mattered. Pan's power level has never been confirmed, and neither is it going to, because, again, power levels don't really matter and they've become essentially useless in Super. I'm not going to put a definite number on it, but I imagine that Pan's power is quite high as a baby, given that Gohan's a lot stronger than Paragus was, Saiyan DNA and all that, and the efficacy of Saiyan hybrids. Back as a newborn, Broly had enough power and instinct to save himself and his father Paragus from planet Vegeta's destruction. This baby could form an energy shield which was strong enough to protect him and his father from a planetary explosion, the harshness of space for a long period of time, just long enough so they could find a habitable planet. That takes some doing. Pan's abilities become apparent after Goku is screaming out to her, trying to find her after she's been kidnapped by Pilaf and the gang. She then powers up, floats in space, and then flies around space, showing no sign of effort whatsoever, and then fly back down to Earth at high speed like it was nothing. True, this hasn't shown much in terms of raw fighting ability, but this latent power within her is quite palpable. This is a key indicator that her power is great and could figure quite massively once she's grown up. Could this be down to her blood? Pan is a quarter Saiyan, having got her Saiyan blood from Goku, her grandfather. Your initial attitude might be that that's too small an amount to unlock Saiyan skills, but I don't think that's the case. Throughout the series, Vegeta has claimed that Gohan, a half Saiyan, had the potential to become the strongest Saiyan of all time had he applied himself to training as much as his father had. Yes, Gohan was the first ever Saiyan in recorded history to unlock the likes of Super Saiyan 2, and yes, Goten did unlock the power to become Super Saiyan at the age of 7, making him the youngest Saiyan of all time to do so. Halflings do have a lot of potential in them. Might this dilution of blood be the key to unlocking Pan's potential? I think so, and it all comes down to emotional stability. Gohan had incredible power, but as a child, had to deal with incredibly unstable emotions. For the most part, he was a kind and intelligent kid who got on with everyone. But when pushed, his raw anger and fury would devastate his opponents and the people that he cares about. He became relatively hard to control. Yes, children are usually unstable, but with Gohan, that was turned up to 11. As Gohan grew up though, his more human, rational side took over. He was a lot more placid, as is displayed in Super. He's an adult in his mid-20s, and I have yet to see him actually explode in anger that wasn't of his own volition. You could point out that Goten and Trunks never expressed these same kinds of mood swings as children. That is a good point. At the age of 7, they are a lot more chilled out and much more like human children. But we never really saw them grow up. Well, we saw Trunks as a baby, but he really wasn't doing much other than hanging out with Bulma. At their age, Gohan had been kidnapped by his uncle, fought 2 strong Saiyans, had to deal with the Galactic Emperor, the Ginyu Force, and then had to deal with Garlic Jr. twice. That's a lot. Goten and Trunks have had it pretty easy. With just a quarter Saiyan inside her, Pan might have even more potential than Gohan. Even though the power of a Saiyan is nestled within her, her human side is much more dominant, meaning that can easily take control, at least in terms of her emotions. She would be able to harness the power of a Saiyan much more easily, and with much more skill and prowess. And she clearly demonstrates that by flying into space and flying around in general and powering up with no kind of training. It's just there. Now let's quickly look to the end of Z when Pan is 5 years old and she's fighting in the Tenkaichi Budokai. Right there. That shows that she has the fighting spirit of a Saiyan, whilst also being quite gentle to her opponents. She doesn't literally stomp on them like a full-blooded Saiyan would. She treats them with respect and kindness, but also wants to express that she is strong. The Saiyan blood, the human blood, working together.
But Pan hasn't got enough blood to be the legendary Super Saiyan! You're talking nonsense, Masako!
I might be. I'm not gonna say that she's going to bulk up and become like a Hulk like Broly was. No. I'm just saying that she shows this much power as a baby. Just think of where she could be in 5, 10, 15 years time. And also, Paragus was trying to do his best to hide Broly's power. Pan won't have that kind of limitation. So where am I going with this? Well, I feel that Pan, if written properly, could have the potential to become an incredible fighter. That is, if that's something that she wants to pursue, of course. If applied right, she could rival Goku and Vegeta. Let's see where this goes. So what do you guys think? Do you think Pan has the ability to become a legendary Super Saiyan? Do you think that she will appear in fights in the future if there is a time skip? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Until the next one, be sure to like and subscribe. And until then, catch you later.